In this video, I will talk about how to take a video file and split it into frames using ffmpeg. Then take these frames and annotate them for object detection using Label Studio. And then finally, how to upload the images and the annotations to Activeloop. The prerequisites for this tutorial is to have ffmpeg installed and to have Docker installed. Let's start by finding our video file, which we will use. I'll use this drone short video, and I created an output folder for the frames. Holding down Shift key and right-clicking, we can open PowerShell at this path. And we will use the following ffmpeg command, where we take drone short MP4 as an input, take one frame every 5 seconds, and save it to the output folder. We will have 7 frames, and indeed we have these 7 frames here. The next step is to have Docker running. I have Docker running here, but to create a new container, we will have to use this command here, where we will take an image and run it as an interactive container, and we will expose this image to the port 8080. The name of this image is Artex Labs Label Studio, and we will have to mount to this path to be able to read and write. So let's start this container, and all seems to be fine here, and we have this container running. In the next step, we will have to open a browser and connect to localhost 8080. We will be greeted to the Label Studio welcome page, where we can sign up. For now, I will use a mock-up email address and create an account here. I'm not saving anything. So we are in Label Studio, and we can create a new project. The new project will be tutorial. No descriptions. Let's import the data, and I will use these 7 files and drag and drop them. And in the labeling setups, I would like to use the object detection with bounding boxes. Let's create some classes. Let's see, maybe we'll have a house and a chair. I can also add a tree. A note that when you are creating new labels, it will have ID connected to alphabetical order. So chair would be 0, house would be 1, and tree would be 2. Let's save this, and an easy and fast way to do all the tasks is to just click the label all tasks. This picture doesn't have anything useful for us, so I will just skip it. This is the first one, so let's see, if I press 1, I can select house, and more or less I'll just do a very rough annotation here. Chair over there, and let's just put in a tree here. And another one. If you want to get rid of one annotation, so then we just need to click it and click the trash bin icon. We submit this, And then let's just do house and another house. We are done with all the tasks, so now we can come back to our tutorial project and export the results. Because I will upload these annotations and images to Activeloop as a new dataset, I'll use the COCO format and use the ingest method, which is built in to Deep Lake. Now that we downloaded our annotations, I will go to downloads and cut this file, this zipped file, and then paste it into where I have my images and just simply extract it there. I will just save this path for later use, and let's open the code for ingestion to Activeloop. First we need to import Deep Lake and then log in to Activeloop. I already logged in, but fill in the username and the password. As a next step, we will need to define the image path where the images will be found, and then the annotation path, basically the path for the JSON file where the annotations are found, and the destination path for the Activeloop hub where we want to save this dataset. But before we would jump into this, there is just one small thing we need to do, and that is to go into the JSON file. And as we can see, for the file names, we have these images already, this images folder already prepared for us. But unfortunately, this format is not accepted for Deep Lake. So I'll just simply get rid of that folder prefix and save this JSON file. Then I'll come back to the script. The path, image path, and the path for the annotation is correct. So then basically I'll use the Deep Lake ingest COCO method, where the images directory points to the images, the annotation file argument points to the annotation JSON file, which is formatted in COCO format, and the destination is the Activeloop dataset where we want to save the images and annotations. And then the keys which we selected will be the categories and the boxes. And we will ignore these keys, which are all found in the JSON file. Category ID and bbox is also in this JSON file, but I would like to call them categories and boxes instead. So let's run this code. All right, so uploading these 5 images with annotations took more or less 1 minute. Let's see now the results. And I am looking for the tutorial dataset here. And as you can see, I have all the images which I just annotated with the correct labels: chair, house, and we have 1 tree. If we click on it, we see the shape of the image, all file info, the different labels we have, the names of the labels, the boxes, and as you can see, it has these tensor name of boxes, categories, and images. If we come to the structure, we see those 3 tensors which we the images and the two tensors which we specified and renamed. And with this, it should be now fairly easy to take your own video, split it up into frames, then annotate it using Label Studio, and finally using some short Python code and using the Deep Lake library to upload the images with the annotations to a new Activeloop dataset.